Hey boys and girls, Cheryl Totten with Boys and Girls Club of Greater Baton Rouge. I'm back to give you a little bit more of our Be Safe, Be Smart, Get Real About Violence program for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. You know, a lot has happened over the last couple of months with COVID-19 going on. That's one of the reasons why we have created these videos because we can't visit you in the classroom. I want to talk about that for just a moment because, when mean things happen around us, we have a certain reaction to them. Well, COVID-19 has made many people, not just several, but many people sick and has caused everybody's life to be somewhat different than what we're accustomed to. And we're all reacting and handling it and dealing with it in ways that we never imagined. But it's going to pass. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be on the other side of this, and hopefully before too long. Fear is something that we're going to talk about today because fear can generate a bunch of emotional roller coaster feelings other than just fear. We can feel sadness, we can feel worry, we can feel anxieties, that is prompted by fear. And fear can control us at times. But I want us all to take a deep breath and kind of bring the focus back in on other problems that were existing before this, and which is violence, and how are they now? Are they any better? Are they any different? Are they basically the same? Through all of this, I have thought about the kids who go to school every day and get bullied. And for the kids who get bullied at school and are doing homeschool, they may feel safer. They may like being at home and not have to worry about that person who's been mean to them at school. But also, I think about the kids out there, and you may be one of them, that school is your safest place to be. And so being at home through all this has maybe caused you a little bit more stress, and maybe more hurt feelings are happening. Well, I'm hoping that through these video series that I give you a couple more tools, some hands-on tools that you can use to help change your story and to maybe make things a little bit better for you. So let's talk about it. Why are people mean? I Googled it, okay? I went online and I Googled, why are people mean? Well, you know why? I found that people are mean because they're hurt. And, a lot of times people say, well, why do we have to talk about violence and meanness? Well, because we want it to stop. And a lot of times to solve problems, we've got to talk about it. We've got to talk it out, okay? And so that's a clue right there that if you have a problem, sometimes the best thing to do is to talk about it. So why are people mean? Let's get back to that. People are mean because they're hurt. Some people in their life, and I'm talking to you, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, okay? Your life has a story. You have a history, all right? And somewhere along in that history, maybe something happened that crushed you, that caused you so much pain. Maybe it was a traumatic thing, a traumatic experience that caused so much pain for you that you didn't know how to deal with it. And maybe today you find yourself mean to other people. And in some way you feel like you're protecting yourself from ever getting hurt or crushed like that again, okay? Those are hurt feelings that you're protecting by being mean to other people because you're not really dealing with those hurt feelings, so you're holding on to them. And I want you to change where your story is going. I want you to write your own story, and we're going to focus on that today. There are certain people that you might be thinking about that have hurt feelings, and they treat other people mean. Well, I've been hurt. You've been hurt. Do you treat other people mean? Maybe you don't. okay? Maybe you're like Superman and you've flown out of those flames of that burning building and you're untouched, you're unharmed by that mean thing. You remember what it felt like, but you got past it, you got over it. And some people get stuck. Some people can fly out of it like Superman did and go on, and they're not mean to other people. Well, we live with all kinds of people in our world, in our homes, and we don't have choices of who's in our home, who our family members are, and stuff like that. But there are certain things you're in charge of, how you treat those people and how you react to and handle mean or hurtful acts, okay? And that can be in the form of violence. Well, simply people being hurt is not an excuse or a reason to treat other people, but it might be that person's reason, okay? If you remember, I talked last time about the scars on my heart, okay? And I shared with you a few things about me that caused some of these scars on my heart. Does that mean that I've only been sad? Absolutely not, okay? Because I could put some sparkles in here and they would get intermixed or mixed up with some of these scars, because I've had so much joy in my life too. I've had a lot of happy times, not just hurtful times. And I'm hoping that you'll focus on some of those. So, what can we do? All right, let's think about what can we do, how can we focus on us. Again, I want us to start with our barrel. Last time I was in the videos with you, I talked about my barrel being full of joy, love, fear, sad, worried. And then I had one more thing up here that's called loneliness. And sometimes all these things can cause our life to feel like they're out of control and they're haywire, kind of like all these crazy stems I have here. But you know, when I was born, the joy my family felt because I was new and brand new life in their life, they felt joy and they loved me. So I knew what that felt like. When I grew, I learned to be afraid of things. I learned to fear maybe the dark or bugs or falling down and getting hurt. And then, you know, maybe that kind of made me feel sad. And, you know, my dad was in the Navy, so he would leave sometimes. And I was sad when he left because I really, really loved him. And I felt sad when he left. And, of course, you know, then I worried about him. Worried, when is he coming back, you know? And so you can all maybe identify with all these, and I hope that you will draw a barrel if you haven't already done and fill yours with all those. My journey is to get back and to let joy come through all of these hurt feelings when I'm feeling them, to eventually get back to the basic of what I was made from, and that's joy and love, okay? And I wish that for you. So let's start that journey. How do we do that? Well, first thing I'd like for you to do, I'd like you to get a journal. If you don't have access to buying a journal or a journal, just make it out of loose leaf paper and construction paper, or just get a notebook and write your journal entries in that, okay? It doesn't have to be something like this, but I want you to start making a journal. I strongly encourage that. If you don't already have one, I'd encourage you to get one. If you have a diary, that will work too. What I want you to do is I want you to write your history. We all have a history, okay? We all were born on a certain day. We all have a brother or sister. We all have these events that have happened to us that brought us to today. And I want you to write down all your history. And I want you to go back over that. I want you to write the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, the ugly could be some of the things that you've done, all right, that caused other people. And I want you to focus on how you felt about each one of these events of your history. I want you to look at that and think about, you know, I'm going to ask my mom what it was like when I was born, you know, and what people said and what people thought. Write that down. Get that information about your history. Then start writing down some things, maybe your first day of school. What did you feel the very first day you went to school or daycare or something, wherever you went? Okay, what was those feelings like? What do you remember that feeling being like? Then continue on, write down the things you like. What kind of music do you like? What kind of TV shows do you like? What's your favorite color? Why do you like that color? And then start talking about maybe when you made your first friend and why you picked that friend, and do they make you feel good about yourself? Okay, I want you to write that down. That's part of your history that has brought you through to today. Then the next thing I'd like for you to do is I'd like you to write down some of your dreams and your hopes. Okay, I want you to write those down. Then I also want you to make another list of the things that you're good at. The things that you can accomplish because of the skills you have. You may be a very good student. You may be very organized. Write those traits down. Write those things that are good about you, that you feel good about, you feel confident about. Write those down so you can look at those and know, this is me too. Not just all the bad stuff or, stuff that I've done in my past, but these are the things that I'm really good at. I like music, and I like some music that other people don't like. I like TV shows that maybe somebody else doesn't like, and that's okay. That's what sets you apart, makes you different, or makes you unique, or puts you in a group of people that you have things in common with. And I want you to put those down. I want you to be real about that, okay? I want you to get real about who you are, all right? Then I also want you to write down your skills, like if you can run fast, if you can draw, if you like to write poems and write songs, because boys and girls, not everybody likes to journal. Not everybody likes to write those things down in a journal form and so forth. So make a poem about your history. Make a poem about your best friend, or even write song lyrics about all of it, okay? So I want you to write all that down. And why do you need to do that? So you can look at who you are. Look at what fills your barrel. What makes you who you are. I want you to look at it, because sometimes we get stuck. Just like that person who's been hurt and they treat other people mean because of the hurt that they're carrying around. Whereas there's other people who have been hurt by mean things and they just pop out and get over it, okay? And you may be that person. I want us to look at it, because then we're going to write the rest of our story. We're going to move forward, and we're going to figure out what I can use from my history to make me different. You may be a bully to somebody at school, and you may be hurting, and you know that the hurt you're passing on to that person doesn't feel good, so you want to stop it. So you're no longer going to be a victim or hostage, okay, or captive to that pain that you felt because of that mean thing, and therefore you're putting that meanness out in the world. I want us to find out how to put more joy and love in the world. That's what's going to stop the meanness and the violence that happens around us. And you can be a powerful force in reducing that violence and those mean things. So, how many friends do you have? Okay? Just because you have one or two, does that mean that people don't like you? No, it doesn't. It just means that you're invested in that relationship, or you like that person enough, and you two have enough time together, or you like the same things and stuff like that. You don't have to have a ton of friends to be a good person, okay? But I want you to find a friend that you can relate to. While we're talking about that, the hurt that you've been through, chances are when you start talking to other people, they maybe have been done or gone through the same thing as you. So they can relate, they can share how they moved past it with you and can give you some ideas that maybe you didn't think about, okay? You know, there's some other things that you're in charge of, all right? Like I said, some of you are good students, so you're in charge of making those decisions. If you're not a good student, you're still in charge of making those decisions to become more responsible for your grades and so forth. You're responsible for the kind of brother or sister that you are. If you're a younger brother, you have a certain responsibility to your older siblings to help them sometimes, just like they have a certain responsibility to maybe help you sometimes. If you're an older brother or sister, you have a certain responsibility to be a leader for those smaller brothers and sisters that you have. We all live in a home and we all have our own responsibilities. That's our microscopic community, we could say, okay? So that's your microscopic community, your family, your home, where you live, and you have certain responsibilities. And that's where you learn so many things about how to be a citizen in our world. All right? Some of the things you don't have control over and you can't change, your family. You were born into that family, and that's your family, okay? You can't change how old you are. You were born at a certain time. So if people say, oh, you're not old enough, or you're too big for this, you can't play with that particular toy or ride that certain thing because you're too big, nothing you can do about it, all right? It's just who you are. Some of us, we can't, you know, I have to wear glasses. I can't help that. I need glasses. They help me. And so if you have to wear glasses, you have to wear glasses in order to see. So some of our things in our appearance, we have no control over, all right? So sometimes we have no control over how we look. Some of us can run fast, some of us can't, okay? I used to be able to run pretty quick when I was younger. Not so fast anymore, all right? You're not in charge of how much money your family has, okay? You didn't pick the jobs your parents have. You didn't pick, you know, what they do for a living. And so you're not in charge of that, all right? You're in charge of what you want based on your family's economic situation, all right? So, but there's still joy, no matter what or how much money you have, okay? So, remember the things you're in charge of and the things that you have no control over, all right? So, you do have control over how you react to all sorts of situations that happen out there. You can look at your history, look at how you've looked at or handled past things, and you need to look at, did I like the way I handled that? Did I feel guilty? Or was I happy about the way I handled that situation? If you had a hurtful situation and you were mean to somebody, are you proud of that? I hope not, because that keeps the meanness going. That's that vicious circle that keeps on going. One mean thing leads to another mean thing. Well, you know, one happy thing or one nice thing can lead to another nice thing. And that's where you want to get to. That's where I'm hoping that you will get to. And you will find out that you can be a powerful force in changing the way you react to things that are happening around you. And you can put your own joy out there in the world, okay? I want to talk to you right now about good teases and bad teases, because in this journey of putting more joy out there, we want to become more lighthearted. We want to become more happy and share that with other people, okay? So I'm going to finish up by talking about good teases and bad teases. And an example that I use is one day my daughter came into the house and she said, hey, Mom, I'm having trouble with my car. Where's Dad? I need him to look at it. And I said, oh, he went to the moon. He'll be back in a little bit. Well, he didn't go to the moon, and we all know that. Was that a mean tease? No, I said something silly to make her laugh. Okay, she was stressed out about something being wrong with her car, so I felt like to make it a lighthearted or to change the focus and give her something to laugh about, I'd make a tease or I'd make a joke about something. And it kind of set a different tone, all right? Or she kind of laughed, Mom, you're silly, you know? And so it kind of helped the problem. But a bad tease, friends, is when we tease people about things they can't change. For example, people who wear glasses, all right? If you tease them and call them mean names and make fun of that, they can't help that. That's a bad tease, all right? So when you're out there thinking about your history and writing in your journal and writing down the things you like or dislike about the way you treated people or the things you like or dislike about yourself and how you feel on the inside, I want you to be careful not to get stuck in making too light of serious problems, okay? Like teasing somebody about how they look or comparing yourself to other people. You can get stuck there, all right? You can become very critical and judgmental, and that's not where we want to go. I want you to get back to the joy. I want you to use this time to think about some of the mean and violent things that has happened in your history. I want you to get real about how you felt about them. Write those feelings down. I want you to write down what you like and dislike about yourself. And then I want you to write down some dreams so that you can look forward to writing the rest of your story. And I'm hoping that you're writing the rest of your story with less meanness and violence than in the history of your story. Boys and girls, I'll be back with another video for day 2, and we're going to talk about some contributors and influences to violence, and I hope to address some more issues. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you'll join me back.